Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, this next young man we got on with us is a Georgia boy. He's been all over the world and played with Steve Winwood, the Allman Brothers, the band with Levon Helm, Bonnie Raitt. The list keeps going on, and we are lucky to have Randall Bramblett with us this morning. How are you, sir?
Fine. How y'all doing?
Man, we
Cool this morning.
Yeah, it's a little cool. Now, you're in Athens, right?
Yeah. I'm sitting on a screen porch.
Got it made in the shade, man. I guarantee it. No, it's a real honor to have you on, man. You have had a history of music career that's just second to none, man. I mean, Steve Winwood and the Allman Brothers. I love Levon Helm. You toured with Levon Helm.
No, you got to tell them what your favorite song is because you made me listen to that this morning first thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. I actually own a garbage service, and I love the song "The Garbage Man."
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
You're kind of history
on the garbage man.
Yeah, everybody thinks about everybody but the garbage man. Till your trash ain't picked up. Yeah, but then
kind of represents working man.
Yep, I guarantee
invisible working man.
Yep, nobody thinks about. But golly, now how long did you tour with Steve Winwood?
15 years, I think.
Wow, that'd have to be a heck of a ride, man. Golly.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't go out every year. We went out according to what records were coming out. Usually it was every couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. And playing with Traffic was really the highlight for me.
Oh, wow.
Just because Jim Capaldi was there, and
right.
We got to do all those songs. I used to listen to those songs in college when I was in college, and, so they were a favorite group of mine from way back, and I never dreamed I'd be playing with them, but so I got to take Chris Wood's place on sax and flute, and, so it was a dream come true.
I can imagine.
We got to play Woodstock that year.
Wow.
I think the brothers.
Now, do you remember Woodstock?
Now,
do you remember Woodstock?
Woodstock from 2004, I think it was.
Right.
I remember that one. Yeah.
There you go.
I didn't go to the first one.
But you know what? Levon Helm is one of my favorite artists of all times. I mean, you toured with him, Bonnie Raitt, man. I know, I love that stuff, no doubt. I call it greasy rock and roll, kind of what I do. But now you've had songs cut by all these artists, and then you've toured with all these artists. But now you have got a brand new album that you're working or got out now. Is it Pine Needle Fire? I think it's called.
That's right. Yeah, we finished it. We almost finished it right before the pandemic came out, so we had to take a break for a few months, and then we decided to come back and just finish it at one person at a time in the studio. So we did, like one horn player at a time. We had overdubs to do, so one background singer at a time, just trying to be safe, and finally got it done, and then we put it out, and we couldn't really tour behind it because there was nowhere to go.
Right.
So we were still in lockdown, and now we're starting to be able to get out and play more and play the new songs a lot. It's a really fun record, and it's got some, more. It's got a lot of depth from South Georgia and experiences of my life in it.
Yeah, that's a good thing about the music, though. That's why country music now is kind of pop country kind of stuff, but I love this, like music like you've got that actually relates to, because everybody can relate to, you don't think about it, but life experiences you had, especially growing up and this, that, and other. And it is a great album, but it's aggravating though with this COVID stuff, because like you release the album and then it's hard to promote it because there's nowhere to go to promote the album.
Right.
And
that's right. We've just this past week, gigs are still being canceled this fall. Just because people are still a little hesitant. Like in Tennessee, we had one cancel yesterday. That still a little hesitant, and then promoters get worried, and then they just cancel it.
Right.
So it's going to be a while before. I mean, we're playing this weekend in Athens on Friday, but it's an outside in an amphitheater, kind of at a brewery. So
right.
Everybody feels comfortable doing that. But we're playing Eddie's Attic October 22nd, I think.
It
and
is.
That's a totally small indoor place in Atlanta. But I'm feeling like we'll be okay, and people will come out. It's just going to take a while.
Yeah, but now you're going to be at City Winery. That's kind of a little bit opened up with that.
Oh yeah, that's a benefit thing. I think I forget the date on that one.
Right, and then the Red Clay. You've got quite a bit of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we do have stuff coming up. Most of it has been, rebooked. So hopefully it'll stay where it's at right now. But I think things are going to settle down by late November, maybe.
I hope so, man. I really do. I mean, I ain't no doubt.
Yeah.
But now you've been playing. I guess you got started in the early '70s with the Allman Brothers. Is that kind of where it all started? I mean, you played with Chuck Leavell. We've had him on, and
yeah. I actually let's see. I started recording in Atlanta before I went to Macon. I was in bands in Athens in the early '70s, and then I started writing my own stuff and making demos in Atlanta, where Atlanta Rhythm Section was recording, and ended up doing a solo record of my own up in New York on Polydor Records. That was really the beginning of my career as far as doing real records. And then I joined up with Cowboy down in Macon,
right.
And got hooked up with Gregg Allman's first two tours through meeting, through doing studio work with Chuck and Cowboy and all those, playing horn and in sections, and kind of being the section leader of horns for all the people that were needing horns at Capricorn Records, like Elvin Bishop or Marshall Tucker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gregg did his solo tours, and we were the horn section, and I played with Cowboy on that tour. So that was the first big nationwide tour I'd ever done, and it was totally fun and exciting.
Oh, I can imagine.
Crazy.
And you survived all that. That's the big thing. You survived all that.
Yeah.
Them years that,
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely, yeah.
But now you play saxophone, but now, I kind of lean towards the piano. That's where it all started out for me, was my mother playing piano in church. And, is that
where I started then.
So, you started out in church too?
No, I started out, I did play in church, but I started out taking lessons when I was 4, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah, I just like the piano. I like to sit and listen to radio when I was really small. So that's what my parents told me. I don't remember it, but I was hooked early on, I guess.
Well, it's paid off.
Then I picked up guitar and sax later. But piano's my main thing, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I guarantee it. How did it feel for somebody like Steve Winwood to call up and say, "Hey, man, you want to play in our band?" I mean, that would have to be.
Yeah, I was actually at the time going to school again because my career had I just kind of let it all go. I was getting sober and straightening my life out, and I kind of said, "Well, maybe I just need to do something else," because everything was kind of tied up with, the party life in the music scene in the 80s, and I just let it all go. And then I went back to I was living in New Orleans, came up to Athens with my wife and her son, and went to school at UGA to get my master's in social work. I figured I could do something in that, just work in a treatment center or something.
Right.
And that's when I got a call. As soon as I went back to school, I got this call from Winwood's musical director asking, they were rehearsing in Nashville. He knew me from Sea Level. He said, "Don't you want to join this tour we're doing with?" It was the roll with the tour after Back in the High Life, and I'd always been a Winwood fan. And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it, man." But I hadn't been playing or anything for a long time. Not really playing that much, and I had to really bear down and get a tenor sax and start, because I always played alto and soprano. Didn't even play tenor, but I didn't tell them that. But I just had to really woodshed and try to catch up to these guys, because it was all these great players like Russ Kunkel and, Michael Rhodes and all these fantastic Nashville players. And it was frightening, but I caught up eventually, and then they kept asking me back, so
that's a good
going
thing
on those tours.
Yep.
That got me back into, that really got me back into the music world and where I really should have been. But so it was a real gift. And I started writing and playing my own stuff more and making my own records just because of that, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's great. I'm a music guy. I love music, and probably more than most, but I love your style, and I love like I said, I call it kind of greasy rock and roll, but you've got some real good stuff. Folks, we're talking to Randy Bramblett. All you got to do is go to randallbramblett.com. It's got all this stuff going on, all the shows coming up. And he is now you're from Athens, and you've been all over the world, and you still live in Athens.
Yeah, I actually grew up down in Jesup. And then I came to Athens after I went to college up in North Carolina. And then I came to Athens after that in 1970.
Right.
So I moved to New Orleans for a while, but mostly, and Macon I lived for a while, but most of my life I've been in Athens. It just feels right for me. There's a music scene. There's, it's a small town, but it's still got a lot going on.
Yeah, it does. I love the Georgia Theater.
Yeah.
We've got to play down there a couple of times. And
that's a great place.
Yeah, it's a good place. We had to play one time when the elevator was broke, and my keyboardist was getting knee surgery like the next week, so we had to carry him up the steps. So
good thing they didn't have to carry you, Stephen.
He's a big guy.
That was after the show they had to carry you.
The romance of the road's a lot different when you're actually on the road, right?
I know. It kind of fades a little bit. That
guarantee it. Reality
has a way of seeping in.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Randall, I appreciate you getting up early, man. I know how you rock stars are. Stay up all night and sleep all day.
Yeah, I know. I usually get up around this time anyway, but it's good to talk to you guys.
Hey, we're going to get you back up. We're going to be following you. Hopefully we get to see one of your shows. You're going to be at Eddie's Attic, and then you're also going to be down in, I seen another one here that we got City Winery, and then Red Clay Theater. You're going to be down there at Red Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be in Blue Ridge sometime.
You're going to be, that's what I was fixing to say. Blue Ridge, which is right here, folks, Blue Ridge Community Theater on February the 19th. And I'm telling you now, I recommend these folks because I know what I'm saying. Y'all need to get down and check this out. And
that's right.
You have got some good stuff, man, and I appreciate your...
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Sherry.
You're welcome. Good to talk to you.
Take care.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.